Welcome to a new What I Eat in a Day. I made a smoothie this morning, and usually when I make smoothies, I tend to add lots of berries and fruit. But I thought maybe it's time to make a more milkshakey smoothie. So I made this, let's call it a cookies and cream smoothie, but healthy. I can put everything I added in the description, but first I added Greek yogurt and then I added a frozen banana and it went very well. I also added ground flax seeds for healthy omega-3 fatty acids, then some tahini for a more rich flavor, I guess, and then some cinnamon and a pinch of Celtic sea salt. Then I added some vanilla protein powder, and I would say this ingredient is pretty necessary because it's what gives it the milkshakey, flavor. But it doesn't really matter which one you use as long as it's vanilla. Then I added cacao nibs and then some homemade hemp milk. I can link the recipe I used for the hemp milk in the description. I also wanted to decorate the glass with something, and this was super improvised. I mixed some kefir with cocoa powder, but later I realized I could have just done this with the hemp milk. You don't need kefir or yogurt for this. I ended up adding a bit hemp milk anyway for the texture, and I just eyeballed this, but I made sure it turned into a cream or paste. I also added just a tiny bit of honey for sweetness because I figured, it would be quite bitter otherwise. Yeah, and then I just spread that on the inside of the glass, and it was not at all in a pretty way. I just did it basically. And what was left of the paste, I just added to the bottom of the glass. The smoothie turned out way thinner than I had anticipated, even though I didn't even add that much hemp milk. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it was still so delicious, and I feel like I have to make more smoothies like these. Of course, I also had some green tea. I filmed this the day after I filmed the video where I only used recipes from my ebook. I can link that video below if you're interested. Anyway, I had leftovers from the black beans and rice dish that I made for dinner that day. And today is the last day you can get 20% off. So if you want to get my ebook, now is truly the chance. Just use the code AUTUMN20. I will put everything in the description as well. Sadly, the only avocado I had at home was moldy, so I just, last minute added olive oil for healthy fats instead. Not really the same vibe, but yeah. I also added red cabbage that I had in the fridge and some nutritional yeast. This does not look appealing at all, but I wasn't trying to make it look pretty, I just wanted to eat. In the afternoon, I had a yogurt bowl, so I added some frozen pomegranate seeds and blueberries to the bowl first. I actually let it thaw for a bit before adding some Greek yogurt. And then I added muesli and cinnamon. So simple, but so good. Whenever I don't know what to eat, I usually just go for my own recipes, either from my blog or from my ebook. This is actually another recipe from the ebook. It's a lentil stew with turmeric, and I like to soak the lentils first because I feel like they cook quicker and become easier to digest. I also was gonna add an onion, but the only onion I had at home was this red onion that had this slimy cut that smelled funky, and I ended up skipping it. I didn't want to take any risks, but that's okay. The stew didn't quite taste the same without it, but it was still good, so it is okay if things like these happen. You don't have to give up on the entire meal and order takeout or whatever, as long as it's not a super important ingredient. But yeah, I continued with the rest of the veggies instead: garlic, carrot, and cauliflower. And then I added the spices. So it was turmeric, of course, and I don't actually have the recipe in front of me, so I don't know the rest of them. But I also added canned tomatoes, and I needed to add water for the lentils as well. And I like to pour the water into the package of tomatoes after emptying it, just to get the last of it. Then I added coconut milk and salt and pepper, and regardless if you soak the lentils or not, you still want to rinse them, so I did that before adding them to the pot. I rinsed them for longer than it appears on camera because I know you'd get bored just watching me rinse them. Then I covered the pot and let it simmer. And while that was simmering, I prepared quinoa, and I always rinse the quinoa as well to get rid of the saponins, which can otherwise make it taste a bit bitter. And as always, I cooked the quinoa with herb salt for a nicer flavor. When the stew was almost done, I added fresh parsley and lemon juice. This is so delicious and comforting, and because of the parsley and lemon, it's also very fresh. I love making a large batch of this and eating it throughout the week, which is what I did. And that was everything I ate this day. Don't forget the code AUTUMN20 for 20% off my ebook. Also make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more healthy food videos.